So anyway, it just seemed to look ghetto. The whole situation just seemed ghetto. And oh Lord, it's a little warm today, so we're gonna make this quick. But anywho, hey guys, this is Nurse Bri. Thank you for checking back in with me. I know I have been gone for like 2 weeks, and sometimes I make videos, sometimes I don't. But I just wanted to update you guys, tell you guys what's going on, where my mind is at, and exactly why I don't post as many videos as I was doing in the beginning. And honestly, it's because your girl been tired. I've been tired. I'm gonna tell the truth. And my unit, which I think I mentioned this in other videos before. That's my dog Brody, so you may see him walking around. He needed a little air. But I was working on a COVID unit, still working on a COVID unit. And in the beginning, it was stressful because it was just new protocols. Things are changing every week. 1 minute we wear a mask, next minute we don't. When I say mask, I mean N95. And then come to find out the patient that we were taking care of, because they were under investigation of COVID, come to find out they had it. So then I haven't been wearing my N95 with this person. I've been wearing my mask. Just crazy. Fast forward, I end up getting tested for COVID. Only because the first time I got tested was only because I had spiked the temp when I got to work. And it was like 101. So I was freaking out. So I was like, oh my gosh, I caught COVID. So I go get tested. It's not like too bad, but it's bad. It just feel like they reaching in the back of your brain, and you got to hold on to the steering wheel. And I promise you, I felt like I just wanted to punch the lady who was doing my test on me. But anywho, I went through a drive-through, went and got that done. Results came back because I stayed home for like 2 days, because you can't return to work until your fever is gone for at least 24 to 48 hours without any type of medicine. So I didn't go to work for like 2 or 3 days, waiting on my results to come, self-quarantining in my room from my family. And I get my results back and they're negative. Praise God. Go back to work. All of a sudden, our entire unit is like no longer COVID, which was weird, because I'm like, maybe COVID is, the rates are going down, so they don't really need like us as a COVID unit anymore. Cool. So that happens. You know, you have your little lunchroom gossip, and come to find out, one of the nurses on the unit caught COVID. And what's crazy is, this is just my thought process on how I think about stuff. I had got a call from my job to come get a checkup. But I thought they was trying to give me a vaccine for COVID. And I don't want no vaccine for COVID, so I didn't answer the call. They're going to have to pull me off the unit to be like, come on, you need to go get your vaccine right now. So I didn't answer the call, not knowing that the call was really because I was one of the nurses who was in contact with the nurse who was positive. So I had to go get tested again. Same drive-through, same nose swab type. Quarantined for 2 days again, 3 days again, and ended up going back to work because it was negative. I really think that our test results come back faster than like people who are not healthcare workers. Let me say that. So it only took like 2 days, but I do know people who it took like 5 to 7 days to get their results back. You halfway through your 14-day quarantine period. Might as well just do another 7 days. So anywho, after that, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is cool. Like, I'm on a med surge unit, internal med surge, and we still get around 4 or 5 patients, but that is fine for me if I don't have to gown up and gown down. I really it's a lot with the N95, trying to cluster. It just can be a lot. And in the beginning, when we first had COVID unit, we only had 2 patients each. So at first people was like, well, they want to be on a COVID unit because it's a little bit easier. But over time, when our unit got turned back into being COVID after that outbreak with the nurse, we ended up with 4 or 5 patients. Talk about stress, like stressful, like not done with my 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock med pass until like 10:30, and I'm already falling into my next med pass, just no breaks. So our unit came back COVID, and so we started having like 4 patients. So now I'm getting stressed on top of stress. We're not getting hazard pay. We were getting it, but then they took it off because they were saying they lost money. You know, a lot of hospitals are saying they lost money. So we weren't getting hazard pay. Then a lot of other specialties didn't want to come to our unit. For example, PT, OT, they didn't want to give our patients MRIs. They were giving us a hard time trying to do that. CT scans, respiratory. Doctors didn't even want to go in there. They just wanted to call off the phone. Nutrition, they didn't want to clean their rooms. Y'all, it got bad. It got to the point where we were doing everything. And I know that we're probably very much pampered. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Y'all ever, when it be hot and it's beaming on you, if God could just do a gust of wind on me, that would be even better. But anyway, it was just getting so bad and nobody wanted to come on a unit to help us. And so I know that we're a little spoiled because we have people who come in and do our IVs for us and also do our own blood draws for us. And so I wouldn't have complained about doing my own blood draws or IVs or things like that if it wasn't other specialties not wanting to come to the floor as well. It just felt overwhelming. We were doing a lot of communication and advocating for our patient. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. To the point where it's like my patient can't get an MRI because they don't want to clean the MRI machine because the patient is COVID. That's neglect. They don't want to do the same thing for a CT scan because they don't want to clean the machine. And so whatever they could do in the room, they would try to do, like, for example, x-ray. So they'll come to the room and do the x-ray. But then it's like, you know, the patient is on dialysis. You got to negotiate about that to the dialysis supervisor. And then respiratory doesn't want to come. So you got to talk to respiratory and be like, hey, are you still going to come and give him his treatment? He's sounding a little wet. He needs his treatment. It's just a lot, guys, on top of just trying to balance your 4 or 5 patients, informing their family, because we had to start documenting the conversations we were having with the family so that the family can't say we didn't call them. And then the doctors, you know, didn't want to go into the room. So they're going off of what we were saying and documenting instead of actually going in the room and doing their own physical examination on the patients. Then on top of that, they're trying to do trial drugs on our patients. Brody might bark, y'all. I'm back. But then they'll also try to do like trial drugs or whatever. So for example, remdesivir, and they would try to do like blood tests and stuff like that on the patients who didn't mind doing the trial drugs. And so we had to start doing our own IVs, our own app draws, on top of having to negotiate with everybody about just our patients getting basic treatment from PT, OT, respiratory, things of that sort. It's just stressful, guys. And to do that day in, day out, 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, it's just a lot. 5 patients on a COVID unit is a lot. Definitely when you have to don on and don off, have to wear that tight N95 mask on your face, you can barely breathe. On top of that, let me say that too, where they were like, hold on to your N95 mask as long as you can. No, I would trade mine out every week. So I'll wear it for 3 shifts and then I'll change it out. Then they started going into like reusable gowns, which are these cloth gowns instead of the paper ones. And then you like take them off in a room and then they wash them and bring them back. Those weren't that bad. The only thing about those is that I don't know whatever washing process or drying process they have. So some of them would have holes in them. You got to throw them away. So anyway, it just seemed to look ghetto. The whole situation just seemed ghetto. And I was just kind of like, I'm tired. And like, I would literally come home drained because you still got to go in your patient's room and hold conversation with them. You don't want them to feel as if you don't care. And then it's like, you got to call their family. Some of these doctors, they can have a kidney doctor, cardiologist. They're not communicating with each other. So we have to communicate. The doctor's trying to figure out why the patient hasn't had an MRI yet. And we're trying to tell them because they're possibly COVID or they are COVID. It's just a lot. And it was stressful. As a nurse unit, a lot of nurses at the hospital had to complain about the treatment that we were receiving and our patients were receiving for the hospital to actually make changes. because we weren't getting hazardous pay on top of all of this. So I was mad. I'm like, I'll do all this work, but the least you can do is amp the girls' pay up a little bit an hour. I mean, come on. And so for them to now make adjustments and actually give us hazardous pay per hour, we still have 4 or 5 patients, but a lot of managers have talked to different areas in the hospital to where they can't say that they can't treat the patient because they're COVID. And so that's better now, because now I don't feel like I have to go back and forth so much with trying to follow up with everybody on top of me following up with what I have to do myself and the task I have to complete. Now I don't have to worry about following up with where their labs drawn, where, did they get a new IV last night? Why they haven't had an IV since, because I work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They haven't had an IV since freaking the shift before. You know what I'm saying? And so it's gotten better. But through this entire, because I'm in a nurse residency and it's only for a year. This ends in February. But I have a contract of 2 years. So I can either stay on my unit or I can go to another one, another location, whatever. I just have to stay with the same hospital establishment. And so what's crazy is when I graduated from nursing school, I said, I do not want to do med surg. Like, I hate med surg. It's too much, blah, 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 blah. I love med surg for the fact that I've learned so much. I've learned so much in a short period of time, and I still will continue to learn up until February. But what I have decided was that I really want to go work with the babies like I've originally wanted to do in the beginning. And I've always wanted to work with peds. But I also wanted to get experience with adults, with grown folks. So I feel like by February, I'm sorry guys, I'm sweating, but I'm almost done. But what I realized that by February, before February, the plan for me, and y'all tell me what y'all think, I'm going to go ahead and apply to work at a NICU with the babies. One, because that's something that I really want to do. I've always wanted to work with children, and it'll still be under the same establishment. I'll just be at a different location. And then also I look at it as I'll still also be able to have under my belt that I've worked on a med surg unit if I also decide to either, because this is what I've been going back and forth with too as well. One, I want to go and transfer to a NICU, work with the babies. Two, I really want to do travel nursing, but I also want to go back to school for my NP to become a nurse practitioner. So my plan to do that is to work with my company that I'm with now, the hospital I'm with now, for 2 years, because they'll pay for 80% of your tuition after 2 years working as a full-time employee. And then you can apply for the program and boom, 2.5 years, I think, and then I'll be an MP. Or I can live my best life and make buku money and do travel nursing. But I feel like that would set back my whole purpose of me becoming an MP. And then also, I'm the type of person where I don't need to take long breaks from school because I would not want to go back. So I guess I'm answering my question myself. I just need to go ahead and stay so I can get my MP degree. And travel nursing will always be there. But let me know what you guys think. I'm still a baby nurse. I'm still very new. I just got my hair done. It's sweat now, but whatever. I'm very new, and all these things have just been flowing through my mind, definitely during COVID. I'm really happy, and I think that it's a good purpose. I'm really happy, and I feel like God had a purpose for me to be a part of a brand new nurse going through a pandemic, because now I have like crazy experience under my belt compared to other new nurses who didn't get this type of experience. But I also know for a fact that I don't want to do COVID. I do want to go towards more of a specialty, and I do want to be with the babies, because that's what I've always wanted to do. Like, if you're my friend, if you know Bri, if you know Nurse Bri, you know I love kids. And so that's what I'm thinking about, guys. That's my move. That's where I've been. I've been tired on my off days. I literally sleep. It's ridiculous. But I was being so lazy to the point where I was like, I need to work out. I need to somehow get this stress moving. I can't just shop my life away, not going anywhere because it's COVID. So I started I got a personal trainer, and I'm on my 2nd week, and I'm feeling really good. I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. Mentally, I'm just better. And I feel like that would allow my content to be better as well. So I know this was a lot, but I just wanted to update you guys on what was going on. But love you guys. Comment below, share and like this video. Let me know what you think. Have a good day.